co-host Josh on the other side of the screen. Mate, again, Viva Las Vegas, we're here. This is the second game of a doubleheader. Like we said, it's coming at you from 3:30 p.m. Sunday in Australia, Saturday night in Las Vegas if we do have any American viewers. But Josh, it is the Roosters, my boys taking on the Brisbane Broncos. The teams are up. I guess from your first look, does anything stand out to you? Do you think anything here with these lineups?
A little bit. As many people aren't aware, you got a little bit of a backline shift in the Brisbane Broncos. You got Herbie Farnworth going off to the Dolphins, so that means Cobbo to play right centre, Dean Mariner to play wing. Not really sure about that backline. I think you could probably get a better centre out there, keep Cobbo out on the wing. I know he does see himself as a winger, but a centre, sorry. But I think he's more threatening out on the wing. The other middle that they've lost is coming off he has moved on, I believe. I had a brain fart here. But yes, they've lost a forward. He's moved on. So then I've got Corey Henson into that starting 8 role. Billy Waters is there. Adam Reynolds is there. Ezra Mann, Reece Walsh, the man with the prettiest eyes in all of rugby league, and the man with the biggest hair and the best takedown wrestle in the NRL in Paddy Carrigan, starting 13. It looks strong. It does really look strong. They lost for the grand final. Will still hurt, so that should be a bit of a fire in the motor for revenge and motivation towards the middle and the back end of this season. But again, Roosters, they look so good as well. It's your boy Jerry Hargraves last year in the NRL. He has announced that you got some off-field dramas with Joseph Manu looking to go to French rugby. Teddy, do they keep him? Do they get rid of him? It's all up in the air. Suili's last year before he goes over to Australia Rugby. Can this team fire? Can this team click for once and all and move forward in the Rooster traditional way of being that top 2, top 3, whatever you want to call it, even top 4, beating down the door of a premiership back-to-back 2018, 2019. Is this the pair to do it? Is this the fullback to do it? Is this the forwards to do it? Let's get your thoughts as being a Rooster fan. What do you make of this Rooster squad going forward?
Well, I actually hope it's a bit of an unconditional Rooster side because traditional Rooster side, we lose the first 3 or 4 of these games and we have to win our last 8 to make the final. So let's hope they can bounce back. But like you said, I think himself, James Tedesco, he knows he didn't have a good season last year. He came out, he publicly said, listen, I don't listen to the media, but I'm very hard on myself. I know I didn't have the good season. From all accounts, he's saying he had a good preseason, so let's hope he can bounce back and get back to his best. Looking at this lineup, like you said, obviously we've got the Joey Manu issues. We've got the Suoli'i leaving at the end of the season. I guess a big out this game that we will talk about is obviously Dom Young, who was injured in the trial game versus Manly. But then I think the positive is you get to see Billy Smith come in, and he was arguably our best centre finishing last year. I'd say he was better than Joey Manu in the last couple of rounds. So I think he kind of earned his spot in Vegas. So I'm excited to see him play. But like you said, there is a few new players in here. You've obviously got Spencer Leniu, who is massive. He is starting this game now. Whether he starts when Hargraves comes back, we don't know. But he does get the starting lineup here. But I'll turn your attention, Baxter, to, I guess, where I'm kind of questioning the lineup at the moment, and there's no guarantee that it does stay this way. But number 11, CL1, and number 12, Sicily Tupanua. Tupanua obviously coming back from an ACL and CL1 having a breakout season. I kind of expect Nat Butcher to start this game. So I guess if Nat Butcher is going to start this game, do you see one of them dropping off, or does he start the game from the bench like listed?
It's an interesting one because he comes up against Jordan Ricky, Jordan Ricky, Payne Haas, and he'll have Seven Cobbo there, as well as I believe it's Adam Reynolds that side. So he might do a job for the first 15, let Nat Butcher come in absorb that. We call that middle section of the game before and after half time. Let's see how the game's rolling because, my Tupanua might need to come off and Wonga just goes back on and Butcher finishes the game. So I think the 1 to 17 as it stands, or 1 to 18 as it stands, will run out as is, and make another interesting double header for Vegas, and hopefully everybody comes fresh or not fresh, but injury free from Vegas.
Yeah, I mean, I will turn your attention. There is one player, I guess, I'm not going to say I'm concerned about on Brisbane side because there is a lot of players that do have a lot of flair that the Roosters will be concerned about. But obviously they do go against their former teammate Fletcher Baker, who will make his debut for Brisbane in an actual game. Obviously, trials aside, he will make his debut against the Roosters. So he was a handy pickup when he did play for the Roosters. And like he said, the Roosters are a bit of a bully ball. So he's there to prove a point. He's there to try and put a bit of pressure on. But we'll see how it goes. But before we do jump into predictions, let's just look at the reserves. 18 through 22, I do think that Marty Tapau does come in for Xavier Wilson or Willison. He is a young player, but I do think that Marty Tapau, with the experience, comes in and plays his part. But let's talk to me about this Rooster side. You've got number 19. You've spoken a lot about rugby union, Angus Crichton. He's not in the top 17. Are you surprised, I guess, that he didn't push for a union move this year, especially if he wasn't in his top 18?
Oh, union's a dead sport, mate. You go there for the money, you come back, and you just lost some years where you could have been making a ton of legway in the NRL. Money's there to be made if you want to go to rugby, but I don't think there's a lot of it after the downfall of their World Cup early exit. But I think there's a lot going on with Angus Crichton. Obviously, last year he battled through that mental health issue early in the season. Middle of the season, he didn't look towards his best that we know. Back end of the last season, I thought he, given everything that had happened, I think he sort of fell short of his average par. And that's why he's been given the jersey 19 at the moment. He could make a surprise switch for one of the interchange benches before Sunday, our local time. But it's not a surprise. Not a surprise after the way last year sort of played out for him. But hopefully all that is aside, he can play good footy and he can push for a New South Wales jersey as well.
And yeah, I mean, like I said, he's battled through obviously like the depression, like you said. So it's good to see a player come through the other side and be able to at least get in. Hey, he's in the top 22 of an NRL squad. That's pretty big to say after everything he went through. But number 22 is the last one I'll pull your attention to, Baxter. It is Connor Watson for the Roosters. He has come back from an injury. It did take him out last year for the whole season. He's come back from an ACL. He looked really, really good in the trials. Do you think this is more of Sandon Smith proved himself at the back end of last season, or is it Connor Watson come in, get back to game level, and then we'll chuck you in?
Well, being a year without like any type of contact, where like whatever code it is, it really hurts your game. Sandon Smith for his sort of, what's the word to describe it? Sort of what we expected as punters and pundits around the world watching this game. He sort of did an acceptable pass mark for himself. Can that improve? Yes, and that's I think he's been rewarded with the 14 jersey. Connor Watson has to work for that jersey because any day of the week I'd choose Connor before that injury to be my 14. But there were some like little whispers that he could have potentially been moved on, made way for some more money to be used elsewhere. Make of it as you will. I think he's here to stay and prove a point that he's the man to either be the 6 to Sam Walker or be the 14 to this team. It's yours for the picking.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very interesting squad, like you said, and we've seen on Smith so young. I don't think he's going to be too upset if he was to lose his spot to Connor Watson, but it's a good squad, and both squads on paper do have that, I guess, premiership threat. When you do look at their teams, 1 through even 30, they have that premiership threat. They should, if they play their best football, both be there come the end of the season, come September footy. But Baxter, again, I'll throw it to you. I will take the rest of the round, but I'll throw it to you for your prediction. Is it Brisbane or is it the Roosters in Vegas?
Yeah, I've got Brizzy 1-12 here. I think they can use the defeat of the grand final, as I said, as sort of a bit of a motivation to go on and win this premiership for them. Be the baby Broncos that Wayne Bennett many years ago set up and scouted out. But look, the only time will tell. Maybe the first class from Sydney to Vegas might help the Roosters be a little bit less jet lagged than the other players stopping over in Fiji. But nonetheless, I'm on the Broncos 1-12.
Well, you did mention the baby Broncos, so shout out to them. They did win the preseason challenge. They did collect that $100,000, and obviously it was against second place, who would be the Roosters, who they are playing in round 1. So maybe there's going to be a bit of sledging if there's a bit of youth over there, but nonetheless, Baxter, I'm not going to side with you on this one. I'm going with my boys. It's a new season. They've said to have a good premiership. I'm going to go to Roosters 1-12. I think they get out there, they get the job done, and I expect a very, very big game from Spencer Leniu. I think he's going to step up in Hargrave's absence, and him and Lindsay Collins are going to be a force to be reckoned with this year. But Baxter, I guess before we sign off, by the time this does air, both Vegas games will be ready to kick off. By the time Sunday finishes, we're back to normal NRL. So I guess we'll have to touch base. We'll have to talk about, was it a success? They're saying 40,000 plus people now in attendance. I think that's a success from all standpoints. But have you got any final comments about Vegas, about round 1, about anything to expect? How many injuries? How many people are going over the ledge? Have you got anything to talk about?
From all reports, everything's like up and vibrant, up and vibrant up over there. The mood is high. The feeling's great for Vegas to kick off. If you listen to many podcasts who are over there, Matty Cooper, formerly retired. You listen to Harry Sport or anybody else that are over there, mate. They're saying they're loving it. It's good. It's great. A bit expensive because the dollar is so dear. So low at the moment. I think it's like a $1 by 70 cents at the moment. Off the top of my head, I'm just guesstimating that right now. But yeah, it seems to be good. Hopefully everything works out well and we can continue on with these 5 years, because everybody's going to say, "Oh, this is Vegas. It's great. Move on." We got 5 years. Wait until we're in year 3, year 4 of this, and the it's sort of rubbed off, that sort of Vegas limelight, the highlighted bit of the season, and we'll just have to wait and see it again.
Yeah, 100%. Like you said, it's a good spectacle. We have to. I think a lot of people will jump and they will judge it based on if it's good or bad this year. But like you said, we need to give it a few years to at least go, hey.
It depends on the team too.
And that too. It depends on the team. But I think by sending, I guess, not the bigger teams, but in stature, I guess the bigger teams, you send a few of them over now. You maybe send Penrith next year. You've got you build up the audience. Yeah, but you build up the audience. You keep building them up, and then you go, okay, it's a Tigers-Dragons game. People are still going to go because now they're used to the game. But we will wrap up there. We have been the Gone for 10 show. We will be back. We might do a Las Vegas review. We might not. We might just jump straight into round 1.